We've seen it. He gets a little tilted. He can.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even under that smooth persona, there's something going on underneath.
That is for sure. And well, it is time to get into the first match here. Toxjq and Noctis, a battle of legends to move forwards in this tournament. It is going to be a very hard-fought match, and I could not think of a better map to start off about here. It is a favorite for both of these two.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Toxjq's performance against Cooler, especially on this map. This is one of Cooler's favorite maps, and he really took him out of his game. So we'll see if he's still hot today.
And I love that we're seeing the start from Slash. That does perhaps suggest that we'll see a fast pace here. Sorlag is out there for Noctis. Already good LG damage. I mean, it's Toxjq. Toxjq, LG, it is the same thing. That's what he's known for. He's going to go back in with it. He's going to run out of ammunition, has to switch to the rockets, and perhaps a bit of an overextension from Toxjq, actually.
Yeah, you know, we've seen Noctis place those rockets beautifully, you know, in all his matches and in previous tournaments as well. So coming in brave like that, he just ran into some damage, and Slash can't take that much. A couple rockets and she's done. Yeah,
it's really interesting, actually. It looks like Toxjq just really wants to start off with a very fast pace. We can see Noctis able to control the map around the rocket area. Connects the long-range rail. The whiff from Toxjq really puts Noctis in a great spot. Misses the follow-up. Might get another opportunity, or perhaps not. Let's see if he makes a good read here. Look at these sort of really good peaks here from Toxjq, actually creating a situation where Toxjq gets a shot, Noctis cannot return. And maybe, just maybe, Toxjq can get some extra damage in, but he will have to fall back. But the pressure has opened up Mega for him.
Yeah, I'm wondering he's going to probably come back flying to pressure this Mega. He didn't quite get there in time. He wanted to, though. Yeah, Toxjq, that Mega really helped him out here. Oh, what a great rail there. Lined him up beautifully. He makes it look simple because, you know, he knew his opponent was coming and lined it up so nice, and oh man. This is what happened against Cooler. Toxjq missed early on, missed a few shots, and the next thing you know, he started heating up, and his rail just stopped missing.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Oh, it's still holding on to the Sorlag is Noctis, still in advantage. And this is a great position for him to be in because the Slash is gone. So that rush down to really force a fight is out of the question. It will have to be done instead with perhaps an aggressive Ghost Walk. I do wonder how much Noctis will commit to playing defensively. You never want to go 100% defensive. You want to keep the pressure up to create space for yourself as you try to play play defensively correctly. And it's like Noctis actually wants to fight here, and he's going to be. That's more than keeping up the pressure. He actually smells an opportunity here to get a kill, and he's going to go for the chase. Oh, the rail misses. That was so close. He's going to keep it up though. Gets position on the high ground with the rocket jump.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important not to get too defensive too early. You give up too much of the map. You give up the resources. You're going to give your opponent too many fragging opportunities at that point. So he still has to keep his own pressure on. I completely agree with that right now. But Toxjq doing a great job. He's not in the greatest shape, but he's limiting what Noctis can do right now. So, oof.
That's a really big rail. It's not a rail that can really be sustained for Toxjq. It's a bad trade from that perspective. At the very least, it is a trade, so he has done some damage to Noctis, but Noctis could very easily just go for a big rocket jump play if he wanted to, or as you can see, just sitting in the mid-map. Perhaps Toxjq felt it was safe as the heavy was spawned, but Noctis waited.
Yeah, we've seen Noctis did some great cutoffs against Pikawa. It was reading him really well and cutting off the map as we saw there, and his rail seems to be with him right now, just as it was earlier. I made a Twitter post about it saying if Noctis keeps playing like that very consistently, he's going to be a tough out, and he's starting off great right now.
He absolutely is. I mean, it was interesting that Toxjq, he committed himself into a bad fight at the very first, with his first champion with Slash, and they just put him on the back foot straight away. So Toxjq is trying to keep that pressure up, but Noctis just out-dueling him at this point. And I love that focus. He's connecting great rails. He's out-railing Toxjq currently.
It's like anytime Toxjq is out in the open there, in the middle or around, Noctis just landing these nice shots, keeping him on the back foot. He's not going to be able to pressure for any of these heavy items. You see, Noctis has just had a free reign of the heavy items anytime he wants, because again, that's going to force Toxjq to back up. I'm really surprised he came in right here.
And there's a split as well. And he gets a connection with it as well. That's going to get the kill. Beautiful stuff from Noctis. Not missing a beat. He looks absolutely solid. Not making a single mistake. Great fundamentals. Toxjq's going to have to really reassess how he opens, because he can't give up a frag like in the way that he did there right at the start.
Yeah, and even here, it's kind of, I mean, I know he was running out of time, so he felt he had to push, but it was pretty much giving a frag at that point. But hey, you got to give credit to Noctis, man. He's really keeping Toxjq off guard, and the rails. I'm amazed how consistent Noctis is playing right now. I mean, I know he's always been a smart player, but he's adding an aim element to his game today. And if he stays like this, oh man, he might win the whole thing.
And we just kind of almost missed a frag there, just barely, as Slash was just thrown off the map there by Heavy. So brilliant stuff there for Noctis. And that's the problem. And we know that Toxjq doesn't like to play from behind. That was his entire thing in Quake 4. That's what made him incredibly dominant. The entire philosophy of his game was, I'm going to play a perfect game from having an advantage, having control, having the frag lead. And so Toxjq from behind, and without the aggressive potential of the Slash, it's a worrying prospect, I would say.
Yeah, and also, you know, the Nyx Sorlag matchup isn't exactly the greatest because Sorlag has such a big stack that you really have to kind of plant that perfect ambush to take advantage. Unless you can get the chip damage and keep getting him down. But, you know, Noctis is answering with a rail of his own. So you're trading a rail as a Nyx with the Sorlag. That's not the trade you want.
And I absolutely love the way that Noctis has been playing the Sorlag at the moment. It's not a champion that we've really been seeing too much from anyone else at the moment. Some people pull it out on Blood Run, but otherwise haven't really seen it from too many people. And Toxjq eventually, finally lands some rails, but so much success has been had with that Sorlag. But now the question is, how is Noctis's Doom matchup against the Nyx of Toxjq here?
Oh.
Good rail connection. Noctis in trouble right now. Looks for the follow-up, does Toxjq, can't quite find it. Doom guy able to escape for now, but Toxjq hot on his heels, and he's going to be able to bully him away. Well, actually at all. I thought that was going to be a connection there.
I thought for sure he was going to get the finish there.
How is Noctis alive? That is kind of incredible.
Toxjq actually missed the shot. Very rare thing.
Absolutely.
But he looks like he's heating up a little bit. He had a nice rail streak on the Sorlag, and then he hit a couple more there to put Noctis in a critical state, even though Noctis was able to get away. So be careful here. If you're Noctis, you don't want to let Toxjq get comfortable, start landing these rails, because he's just devastating when his aim is on. Got to keep his, it's hard to say, you want to smash his confidence a little bit, make him think he's having an off game.
And this is a really exposed position for Noctis. There's no escape option. You have to fight right now, and he's going to connect the rail to keep himself alive and perhaps even get a chance at a frag, but he misses the rail that perhaps would have done it. Noctis, I really don't know how he survived earlier, but he's in a position where he might actually be able to take control of this round.
And one of the dangers of letting good players get away with critical health, they just find a way of restacking, and it always comes back. It seems like it comes back to haunt you every time. We saw it in earlier matches too, where I think it was Astro Boy got away with like 6 health, and because of that ended up getting a full stack. And came back with a kill.
Oh, that was definitely not what Toxjq had in mind. Now, Toxjq, oh my God, that was incredibly quick. That was like a pre-fire or something, or I don't know. This guy is pretty good reactions for an old man. It's going to be a couple rails connected. Is that where this all starts then? Is Toxjq, did he just press the big red button?
It looks like he's heating up. I swear, he's probably hit about, in terms of his last 8 shots or so, he's probably around 80% right now. He's definitely landing at a high percentage. And again, another rail from Toxjq. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. When he gets like this, man, I'm surprised he didn't hit that one too at this point.
Yeah, it's really scary. It gets to a point where you want to start limiting his options to get rails on you and start changing your approach, because you don't want Toxjq to get into a groove. That is a death sentence straight away. And Noctis will be able to use the Ghost Walk at the very least. He's going to get a good engagement. Potentially the Rocket not quite catching Toxjq, and Toxjq, all he has to do is turn around and Noctis's health just vanishes down to 7, but still alive here. It seems as though Toxjq wants no part of this. He himself quite low, and
good respect there. They were both low, but he has the champion lead right now, so he doesn't need to press.
How long is that going to be the case here? Oh, ooh. Great vertical rail from Toxjq, and that's where it is. It's land him the win in that round. And that's very encouraging. Again, considering the way that the first round played out, I was a bit worried for Toxjq to sort of find some comfort, find some level of comfort. I'm not sure, again, if he's going to, be able to smash that big red button and just go God mode every single time, but he did find some moments there.
Oh, he's definitely found a little magic right now. He was working the railgun that last round.
So now
I'm wondering if Noctis may want to take, Toxjq already has the rail. I'm wondering if he wants to play a little area denial, with the railgun, because Toxjq is so on fire right now. You might want to think if he goes down this round again with the railgun the way Toxjq has been playing, the next round, I think area denial, try to keep him off of that railgun as best you can. I know it's a tall order, but I know Noctis is a capable player and smart enough to do something like that.
Noctis is going to be able to zone out Toxjq so he can pick up that heavy pretty easily. For Gratis, actually, I think it was almost no damage exchanged. Toxjq able to take the Mega as well. So either player getting a big item. Toxjq with the trap there. Noctis with the read though, but it's all about the hits, and it's going to be Noctis. Superior stack, has the rockets in the close quarters, and that's going to be beautiful for him, picking up the kill onto the slash. Toxjq with the slash, that's where you expect the damage to be done, but he's not really finding it so far.
And that was, I think, a miscalculation by Toxjq. He went to set the ambush, as you said, but he picked up the pack. Ammo pack, that was the sound cue. That's why Noctis came in so confidently. He knew he was there. So you need to recognize when you pick something up like that, that your opponent could hear it, your ambush is done at that point.
And I was just thinking that Noctis is a clairvoyant, but actually it was just as simple as a sound cue. That makes sense. That's a good connection from him as well. And against Toxjq, you have to be able to hit some nice rails. And Noctis has been pretty consistent, especially in that first round. He was essentially just out-railing Toxjq as well. So another heavy connection for him. And Mega also picked up by Toxjq. So that's a really nice advantage here for Noctis. The 2-champion lead.
Oh, he's got Fox in a bad spot here, going up that jump pad. He's probably going to get the finishing kill for the round. Yep.
Beautiful rockets there. Wow, that looks really confident from Noctis. He's providing a lot of crazy kills here so far today. I mean, the confidence in his rocket placement is always really encouraging. I think, obviously, you can miss a rail here or there, but I think, you know, Quake, it comes down so often to those rockets. You know, one bad rocket in a fight, and that's you done.
Yep, I've said it to the point of nauseum, I'm sure, how much I feel like that the rocket launcher really is the trend center. That sets up everything else around, your game sets everything else up. I mean, so it's amazing that his rockets are placed so well, and he's answering Toxjq's rail with good rail shots of his own. He's right there with him. It's hard to say what's going to happen right now.
Absolutely. Oh, gets the mid there. And I don't think he knew anything about that. It was a reaction shot. He knew that he couldn't really do much there. That is very fortunate. Toxjq now, very weak. Sorlag, Noctis' Sorlag, not really all that strong either though. And although he will be able to get himself to the heavy, Toxjq is like moving quickly forwards there, rail connected. He's going to be back in for more perhaps. Oh, it's actually Noctis who wants to finish him off, finding the rockets once again. We talked about them, and it's the combination. Beautiful, again, from Noctis.
There's a prime example of that Sorlag stack against a light champion. That's why I think he was so aggressive there. He figured, you know what, I'm going to force this fight right here. Toxjq is thinking I have good position, but he was willing to take a hit to get close and force that engagement because he knows a couple good hits on Slash, and now Toxjq doesn't have Slash.
That's very true, and Toxjq, he's going to force the issue. He knows he has to do something pretty dramatic here to try to finish off this Sorlag, but so much stack! And again, Noctis with the combination kill. Rocket to rail. It is glorious. It feels very satisfying. He must be really starting to hit the zone. Toxjq is being outfought and outdueled.
Yeah, Noctis playing really sharp, just as we saw earlier with Pikawa. Just a solid all-around game. That's one of the things I love about Noctis. Nothing too flashy, and I always kind of say that if you're playing good Quake, nothing should seem really flashy because you're setting up your shots and you're getting the proper angles. The flashy shots are low percentage shots. You don't want to be in those situations too often.
And well put in this. It's Noctis now with a good beat in his opponent, trying to go for the cutoff game. Again, we mentioned how strong he's been at that, getting the acid connection as well. And that is obviously going to be telling Noctis exactly where his opponent is as well, which is another useful aspect of it, as you can see the damage below him. And it's like a temporary wall hack in a sense. And ooh, rails missed there from Noctis. That would have been the kill. Oh, he gets the crucial one though. And that's the denial of not only the heavy, but the round as well. And the map, perhaps Noctis, so strong.
Yeah, I really like how he's cutting off the map and using the position to kind of block off the heavy. See how he was able to back off into the mega health? And even there, when Tox was going for the heavy armor at the end, he had the rail angle. Tox was kind of fortunate even to get out of the mid at that point because he knew exactly where he was. So, I mean, I really like how Noctis is reading his opponents right now. It's, people have a tendency to play the items in Quake, but he's really playing his opponent right now, and it's showing.
Absolutely, it's kind of insane. I think I saw an emotion. I'm not sure what kind of an emotion it was, but there was something stirring in Toxjq's face there.
I don't believe you.
Maybe maybe he's starting to feel again. I don't know like what's happening. Maybe he's just not used to it, but yeah, it definitely looks like Noctis just completely outplayed him across the board, which is pretty darn impressive. And again, if you can prevent Toxjq from getting in the groove, then you've basically done most of the work in creating in a scenario where you can get the win. And now it's just about converting it across the entire series. And honestly, the form we saw there, it really feels like Noctis could get to our finals with if he can continue that consistency. He could definitely get to a final. I could absolutely see that.
I definitely could see it. I love how he's playing right now. I know he would be kind of like, nah, he's always so laid back with what he thinks he's going to do in his performance. But honestly, he's playing really great right now. I love the consistency, just making smart decisions typically. Even when Toxjq got hot, he kind of weathered that storm a little bit when Toxjq was landing those rails and came right back, just kept playing solid, stay within yourself, don't panic. These are great players. They're going to land some shots too. Just keep playing within yourself.
Right, so let's see how the champion picks go on Blood Run. Again, I love how we get the classic Quake 3 dual maps. Yeah, I say Quake 3, Blood Run was actually, of course, it was, DTM, DM1 was actually in Quake 1 first, but...
It's older than Claws.
Oh yeah. That's actually funny. We're having a conversation in the break earlier with 04 and yourself, and we were talking about when Kula first came onto the scene and about that finals, and we realized, Kula was like 15, 16 years old when he in 2003 at ESWC, when he started to make his name. He toppled 04 at the time, who for the 2-year period before that was basically the best jeweler in the world, more or less. And we worked out that he was 18. Yeah. 04 was 18 at that point.
Yeah. And
so he would have been 16 when he was at CPL Babbage's at 2001. So he was actually younger than Claus. So this is really weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I started thinking back, I was like, wow, you were really that young at the time? I was like, geez, no wonder you started kicking my butt.
Yeah.
Because those 16-year-old teenage reflexes were starting to kick in. And that means actually, in terms of little history there, I was playing 04 at Quake 2 before he came into the zone of Quake 3. That means he was like 14 years old.
Oh my
playing
God.
Against me.
Oh my goodness. How did he get his hands on a game like Quake?
I don't know.
That is crazy. Well, it's time to go into Blood Run. Noctis, he had a very dominant performance there. Toxjq definitely looked slightly shaken, could not find his groove. Will Blood Run provide him some level of comfort back into this series? Noctis, I'm excited to see that form continued. It looks it was phenomenally fun to watch.
Yeah, I can't, I'm sounding like a broken record though, but he really is playing a good fundamental game and staying consistent. Yeah, I love how he's playing right now. And if he does continue to play this way, he's going to get the win, I think. But Toxjq made an adjustment, one with Sorlag as well. So we'll see what happens here.
Sorlag Mirror. I don't think I've casted a Sorlag Mirror yet this tournament. And the fight over the Mega, very, very tense stuff there. A lot of damage exchange between the two players, both escaping quite low. Noctis slightly better off, but pretty even overall. The Alpha collected here, and Noctis with the position on the map to allow him a heavy pickup, which will set him up really well into the next Mega. But he can't just go to positioning on Mega right now. He has to try to get some damage on Toxjq so that when he goes to the Mega, Toxjq cannot fight him there.
Yeah, I thought the positioning of Noctis again, where he was forcing Toxjq in that battle, even though they both backed off, Noctis was in the better position to run to the heavy armor to grab the health bubbles. So he was able to recover a lot quicker than Toxjq. I'd be surprised if Toxjq couldn't even challenge for the Mega Health because of that. So he's kind of stuck in this back area right now trying to build up his basic stack.
Yeah, very nice defensive rocket there. Again, Noctis with the 3 heavy and the 3 Mega in a position where he wanted to apply the pressure, but Toxjq playing the defense. Not really much that Noctis can do to get in.
Yeah, no need to take a silly risk like that. It's round 1 in the second map here. Just keep running the items and try to force Toxjq into a mistake. Oh my goodness, but Toxjq, jeez.
Yeah, and
he bullied his way in.
Absolutely, and it did seem like Noctis sort of had a situation there where he was thinking to himself, I'm not exactly sure how to attack into Toxjq right now. Like, how do I aggress into another Sorlag? I can't really use the spit to my advantage reliably, and we have the same stacks, essentially. This is kind of an awkward situation, so he might actually find more fortune now he's onto the Nyx. This may actually pay off, potentially. We'll have to see how the dynamic works.
It's all about, can you get that really good ambush and unanswered damage on the Sorlag. That's a big thing. You can't trade damage with the Sorlag if you're one of these smaller champions. So it's a big thing to get that initial damage, unanswered damage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Again, that acid spit is so good, not just for the damage, but allowing you that extra time to see where your opponent is. And, oh, that's a perfect rocket, isn't it? Oh, the rail misses. Kind of a rail that you would expect Toxjq to hit, but oh my goodness, the aggression coming in from Noctis, barely taking the Mega in time. Unbelievable there from Toxjq, the timing really favoring him. And now he's in a brilliant position. Noctis onto the last champion.
Yeah, that was a little cheeky from Toxjq, in my opinion. He knew the timing so well. That's where timing can, you know, when you're down to the second like that, that made all the difference. If he doesn't think that Mega's up in the second, maybe he moves off it, and Noctis pushes in and takes it. So great play by Toxjq.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. 1 HP. That is crazy. I don't think that Noctis had any idea that that was the case. Did Noctis assume that he picked up the Mega? He may very well have done, as that is still actually in play. Yes, he did. He had no idea about that, and it's a missed opportunity and one that perhaps could cost him his life. Don't want to challenge the rail, but he will. And that's the end of Noctis. Round 1 over. And
yeah, that's...
go ahead.
That's one of those weird situations where you think your opponent picked it up, and these guys are so good. They assume their opponent was there for the timing, and Toxjq made an error. And by the time Noctis figured it out, Toxjq had already come back and had established position, and it's just a little unfortunate for Noctis there.
Yes, it can be very hard to keep track of the stacks of your opponent sometimes, especially now that we're in a mode where the champions have very varying stacks, and we have the same problem now. And I'm very curious how the adjustment will look for Noctis. Again, playing against Toxjq. Noctis had the perfect situation. He had full map control previously, Sorlag versus Sorlag, but he still couldn't find a way in.
We're going to be playing some cat and mouse now. Both the first frag is always so critical in Quake Duel. Oh, nice little rocket to back Noctis off. Toxjq should have firm control now with the Mega. Noctis got to be a little careful right now. Toxjq's gonna go, oh my god.
I absolutely love the Super Nail Gun. It is an amazing weapon and is incredibly powerful against the big characters.
Yeah, and he set it up nice. That stairwell, I mean, that's a great position to have. You don't really have much room to dodge, and especially when you're a big fat lizard. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Doing great nail gun, right? It reminds me of the old plasma gun, right? And the great players were really good at using the off weapons. That's always so important.
Toxjq actually taking a lot of damage previously, not actually with an amazing stack here, and he is on the back foot, retreating through the teleporter. You can see obviously taking the fight with the safety of the teleporter, and that was very smart from Toxjq. He's going to be actually in a fairly even position stacks-wise, and he gets a good couple of shots here. Oh, he goes in for seconds, and that is going to be the frag for him. Toxjq really lighting up on Blood Run. It was always a great map for him, honestly, in Quake 3 as well.
Nice answering, though. I like how he countered. He said, you know what? I'm going to go with the Sorlag too right now. We can both play the big stack game. So, and he's great with any kind of movement. So even the bunny hopping, he knows how to do just as well as the crouch sliding.
It really looks like he has Noctis' number at the moment, just really outplaying him, Sorlag versus Sorlag.
Yeah, he knows Noctis he has to make a move out of that back room. And now the spit is more of a factor because he's going to get that tick damage.
I think, did Toxjq get punched in the head on the way down? The Berserk still active there for Noctis, but the flick rail actually whiffing there from Toxjq. I think I just expect him to hit every rail.
No, I think he was out of ammo.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, that's it. He clicked it and went to the weapon switch. Because that was popped him up. I thought for sure he was going to land a rail there.
Well, he lands a bit of rocket damage, but he's actually gone quite low. But again, these exchanges of damage being the way that they are, has actually created a situation where Noctis can't really do much to continue pressure and challenge. Oh, there it is, the rocket to rail, the classic combo that we saw so much from Noctis. And now Noctis having to swallow some of his own medicine, and that's not going to taste all too nice. It's going to burn all the way down, as the prospect of an imminent loss on Blood Run is there for Noctis. Is close to going down 2 rounds against Toxjq, and really without response to the Sorlag.
Yeah, Toxjq looking really strong here, and because especially when you consider the first map, I thought it would be a lot more back and forth than it is right now. But give credit to Toxjq for, it's always, you got to mentally reset. You can't think about the last map at all, or even the last round in this case. Now that there's a round system, You just got to forget about it and move on. It's all about the next frag, the next moment. There is no before.
You must be in the moment. You must read some Eckhart Tolle books, perhaps. Power of Now. In stores now. Noctis getting pushed onto the back foot. That's where Toxjq found some success. Oh, that was close. Actually able to just sort of banana curve his way out of the way of that Ghost Walk telefrag danger. But pursuing, and he'll be good for that rocket jump for the finish. A very weak Noctis, a desperate Noctis in Blood Run.
I like the decision to rocket jump right there, no question. He just came right up, he knows he's low. Don't let Noctis play this little peek game with the rockets and try to move away from you. Just get right in his face and make him land, you know, a combo of midair to another rocket. I mean, it's very hard to land that. Now, let you knock Toxjq knew he needed a little bit of damage to get the kill.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious me. That's so much damage, isn't it? Toxjq in such a phenomenally strong position again. Going for the pursuit there, reads it well. Oh, my God, this is awkward, but he does manage to pull it out of the bag anyway. Toxjq looking pretty steady under the pressure, and this is so important for this series that he's able to sort of have such a dominant performance like this, because, again, I mean, he had no answer for Noctis on the map, on the first map. Oh, one HP.
And the Mega sitting there for him. Beautiful.
Oh my God. And this is where you might, yeah, you can see Noctis is just rushing him down here. He knows that he's weak. He's going for it, picks up the kill with the pummel.
This is what we talked about sometimes with Noctis. You see it, it's a little bit of a tiltish move there, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so he needs to dial it back a little bit. He's probably thinking, oh, I just want to move on to the next map. But this map isn't over yet, man. You still, you know, if you win this round, you're back in it.
It's very logical and sound advice, but I'm not sure that's how it works in his world at the moment. And again, that was a very nice couple rails coming in, and all of a sudden, 2 rails make the difference, and this sudden sort of ramp up of aggression from Noctis, perhaps in frustration, it's actually working for him. And maybe he's found some way to deal with Toxjq, but has to be able to somehow now find the frag to reset the situation. And the Ghost Walk comes in. Can he get the frag? He can't connect the direct.
Oh, he's got a good position here, though.
Nice rail, but no more rails to be connected here. Rocket jump up, denying the health. Heavy up soon as well.
Good position. Take that high ground up there. Make sure you have the heavy armor. Ooh, great rail over Toxjq.
And now it's going to be about this next Mega. I don't think Noctis is really interested whatsoever in a fight until that Mega spawns. Being on the stack that he is with the health that he has. Mega in 5 seconds. Will Noctis go for the challenge? Is he dropping down for it? No, he's not. He's actually looking to potentially give it away. I think he was wanting to pressure from Rocket with a rail maybe, but Toxjq out positioning him, and with such a big stack. Oh, misses the combo this time. Some good damage actually on the way down from Noctis. Oh my goodness, some crucial misses from Toxjq. This might be a chance for Noctis. Berserk is popped. Toxjq really having some troubles here. There's opportunity, another rail connected. All of a sudden, this moment of weakness from Toxjq is everything that Noctis needed to get back into the round. And now, look at Toxjq, he's just playing the teleporter game, he's running away.
Yeah, I really thought he had Noctis there with that bounce to the rail combo. You know, we see Toxjq land so many great shots. You know, when he misses an easy one, it's like, wait a minute, what happened?
Oh man, so many awkward situations on the fights. Rocket's coming in there from Noctis, unable to find a good connection though. Trying to somehow get himself onto this Mega health, but pops the Ghost Walk just to keep himself alive, and that's going to be him forfeiting the Mega. But if he hits the shots, maybe there's a chance, but no. Toxjq back in, and he will close it down. 3-0, clean sweep. It wasn't until the end when Noctis started to perhaps lose hope and get aggressive that Noctis suddenly realized, maybe I should have been doing this all along.
Yeah, he was, I don't know what was going on there, but he definitely made a switch at the end, and he almost pulled it off. I felt like, I got to give him credit too. It's very hard to be, you're down 2-0 in rounds. You're down to your very last champion. You can make 0 mistakes at that point. So, and against a guy like Toxjq, he just couldn't get it done. You know what I mean? Because eventually Toxjq's going to hit some shots of his own, which he did. He kind of, you know, Noctis didn't want to go into teleporter. He knew Toxjq was going to read. That's a typical try to escape point. So he had him lined up, and he tried to push into him. But, you know, you got to give credit to Toxjq and landing the shots that he needed to. So 1-1.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting actually, because you know we are really seeing the God mode come out. We saw glimpses here or there, but there's also been some glimpses of sort of maybe just, well, we saw some crazy misses there. There's actually a spot where, what, like 3 misses in a row? Just, again, you don't really expect Toxjq to hit everything all the time, but 3 in a row is actually kind of significant for the likes of him. So Noctis, I think he's going to be moving into the 3rd map with a great deal of confidence here. Are you pulling for either one of these 2 players, or do you feel as though one has an edge leading forwards?
It's hard for me to say, you know, in terms of pulling for either player. I admit all the time I socialize with all the players. I pretend to have some favorites and everything. You know, obviously,
who's your favorite?
I have a little more attachment, obviously, to the North American players, American players, because, you know, they're my local guys. But I've been around the scene so long, I have a lot of respect for the European Quake scene and all their players. So there's no favorite here for me. They're both great guys, but I really
eloquently dodged the question.
Yeah,
I respect
that. I gave you the politician answer.
Yeah,
answering without answering. But no, I like the way Toxjq was playing against Cooler. I think if you could put it together and get that God mode, like you said, that God mode Terminator kind of thing, he's really tough. But Noctis, I would like to see Noctis win. I guess if I was pulling for somebody, I'd like to see Noctis break through and get that win. I think it'd be really, really great.
There's something about Noctis winning which is somehow satisfying. I don't really know why. I don't really know why. It's just kind of fun to watch him go deep in tournaments. I mean, he's a great player. So you know you're always going to get something quality, and especially the deeper he gets into a tournament, obviously the more focus we're going to see from the likes of him. And that was again a really interesting situation, because I think you spotted it at the exact same moment I did, when Noctis just really seemed to be like, yep, I want to next map, let's go to the next map. And then obviously that's when he actually did get a frag off the the crazy pressure. So things started to change a little bit, which is good. I think that was a really good. I think it's much better for that to have happened and for Toxjq to have won in that way than for Noctis to have just rushed down because he wanted it over, basically.
And wondering here, is Toxjq going to try to match that Sorlag again with a Sorlag of his own, or is he going to go back to the lineup that he was working with on Blood Covenant? But I thought this Sorlag was countering Noctis' Sorlag, and for people who don't know, you can get the direct spit damage, but it takes the tick damage completely out of the equation. So it makes it a little less effective to some degree, because you have to hit those direct shots with the spit.
Well, it is time to get into map number 3, the decider between Noctis and Toxjq here at the Quake Champion Invitational here at DreamHack 2017. DreamHack Winter, I should say. Ruins of Sarnath, a new map in Quake Champions, and Noctis leading with the Sorlag, and just as you said, we will see the Sorlag from Toxjq as well, understanding that did indeed work well for him. Yeah,
I think it's smart. I mean, he's sticking with what worked. I felt Noctis, once he got off Sorlag, it seemed like Toxjq was having an easier time dealing with him. But we'll see what happens here, because I think Noctis can turn it on at any moment. Look at these rails he's hitting. It's so much in the balance. It's so hard to pick winners when they're at the caliber these players are.
Yeah, and it's right now here, I think Noctis is, again, due to those awesome first rails that he connected, is really in a great position. He's got a very good stack. And if he gets a connection on a rail, the next big items, he'll be heavily favored. And then he gets options. But we'll have to hold that thought there. Oh, well, that's the damage you want to see. Will he go for the finish? Oh, that's a stunning shot there from Noctis. Can he get the finish? He's closing in. He knows that Toxjq has his back against the wall. There's nowhere to turn. And both the items are spawning. Maybe Toxjq wanted to just get a quick respawn to get a grab, but he instead, again, back against the wall, trying to escape. The trail is going to come out, but Noctis still on the items. Even though Toxjq escapes and gets a heavy, Noctis still in a great position. Oh, this could be devastating. Toxjq, defensive nails, looking good here to escape. But, oh, Noctis is hitting everything. This is insane right now. Toxjq playing the telly, barely escaping with 4 points of health. Noctis knows he's low.
Yeah, and Noctis really has Toxjq on the back foot right now. Just couldn't quite get the finish there, had him so low. But he's playing great. I think this map is interesting with all the rail avenues you have here. I think whoever gets hot with a railgun starts landing that peak damage early on is really going to take control and win the match.
And a moment of calm for myself and everybody at home, and for the players as well, as things start to slow down. That was a very tense and incredibly close situation for Toxjq to come out and somehow survive. And Noctis, though, that was such a strong start from an aiming perspective. Speaking of which, though, great rockets will certainly help out Toxjq keep the pressure off whilst he can find another option to get the aggression in.
Yeah, nice little throw with the tri-bolt, got some damage, and then again with the rocket. Good damage there from Toxjq. Keep Noctis on the back foot. You can't let that Sorlag get stacked, as we saw, right? And once the Sorlag gets really stacked, he's going to have a problem with the slash, dealing with the stacked Sorlag. So It's very important to keep that chip dam. Keep chipping away at these heavy classes. You make them constantly recover. We've seen it with Clutch too, right? When they have these big stacks, you can use that against them if you can kind of get chip damage. Machine gun, shotgun, any damage you can get, just do it.
Absolutely. Make sure that they struggle around the map, looking for all the armor they possibly can. And it's Toxjq who is looking to control the heavy armor still. Of course, he was able to run that after that sort of epic escape that he made, the Great Escape.
I was literally holding my breath.
I know. Noctis, I mean, he was hitting everything. I thought he had it, but now he's on the back foot. Now he is on the ground. A shallow grave for Noctis as Toxjq looks to keep the pressure on as well. And the rail comes out long distance, but not really tempting fate is Toxjq. He is grateful perhaps to just have equalized the situation. Oh my God, the grails are fantastic. Another brilliant combination from him, and wow, it happens.
Combo. Yeah, great combo. Just placed some great rockets, knocked Noctis in the air, and I'm sure Noctis was thinking when he's flying the arrow, no, I'm probably dead here. Toxjq heating up again. This is the back and forth. When he starts landing, I don't know, because he can get so aggressive. You know, he can push and he flies around the map with Slash. Oh no.
Yeah, Noctis going for okay, that's not good. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, that's what happened there.
He knew he was going to die, so he killed himself. So, but that's the kind of the Noctis that we know, and that frag right there is perhaps the one that would have tilted him, because he would have felt like he had the kill on Slash. We saw how low Toxjq was. Noctis likely felt a bit robbed, so... Wow, holding my breath for that one as well.
Nice prediction shot, even though it missed us. It was really close. We have the benefit of X-ray, so it's awesome seeing how close that was.
In my mind's eye, that was connecting.
I honestly thought it was going to connect.
Because he looked away as well. He looked away. Toxjq, a master of suspense and the lightning gun, and perhaps all things within Quake.
So can he get Noctis off the Sorlag again? It seems like that's been the trend. If he can get Noctis off the Sorlag early, it's been really good for Toxjq.
Toxjq now just looking to go center map here. Controlled though by Noctis. Off to a decent start as far as the damage exchanges go. Toxjq will not be able to challenge for anything big should Noctis be on it already, and he's on the heavy, which is where we did see Toxjq venturing towards, but I think Toxjq has worked it out, and the Mega should be grabbable for him. Will we see a rocket jump here from Noctis? No, it looks like he will just be missing that Mega straight up.
Yeah, he probably recognized, he would have been a little short on time to make that work, so it would have just been taking self-damage and possibly exposing himself to Toxjq, lining him up with some shots of his own, and not getting the Mega health, so a smart play. He just, keep your control. It's pretty even right now. You don't want to do anything too silly.
And that was pretty big there. Toxjq had no idea that Noctis was playing around this rocket launcher area now into the green. Let's see if he can get something done. That's a good connection. Right now, Toxjq has to fight his way out, and Noctis with that connection, there's not really a good argument for him to leave just yet, especially when he can get another connection, but he's going to go and leave because he wants to get a cycle of the items, but he's going to give up the Mega. And Toxjq, that was such a smart and very brave play to just go for the rocket jump, commit to the Mega.
I thought that was a mistake by Noctis, honestly. That's part of the map you really don't want to be on in Sarnath because you have nowhere to go. So I felt he had him trapped, and I was really surprised. I thought he let him off the hook there.
Maybe he was just concerned about leaving the items up for a potential split when he wants to be able to sort of separate them and then be able to run them. That could have been the plan. Maybe Noctis thinking about the long term, but ultimately, it is going to be down to Toxjq to try to get himself onto these bigger items, because Noctis is still in the driver's seat. Very much so. That,
oh my goodness.
He is the meat popsicle right now.
Stacked.
Now, Noctis looking for Toxjq, but he's missed Toxjq.
Decent delay between the items. I don't know if it's enough to get from the heavy. You could probably rocket jump up and get there if you get the heavy right on it. Oh no, this is...
Noctis going for the race moves there. He has great movement with the air control. He gets a lot of damage there, and this is really a key moment for him. He wants to take the fight, but that rocket defensively is going to be very powerful here. Still, though, Noctis piling on the damage here, chipping away at the stack of Toxjq, and again, keeping himself in a position where he can be the strongest player on the big items, but he's still not making inroads into, well, as I say that, a direct rocket, he pushes Toxjq away from the heavy.
Yeah, Toxjq, you never want to sit there hatching that egg on items, as we say in Quake. You don't want to be sitting there too long. At least take a better defensive position But you got to give credit. He came down there with a great air movement, air control, and lined up a great rocket as he came in.
Noctis trying to go for the prediction here to see where his opponent will be dropping to cut him off, and he's going to find Toxjq by the stairs, pushing him away. Toxjq so weak, nowhere to go. The rocket to finish, and that's Noctis with a very, very hard-fought frag. He was working hard for that one. Again, you know, we had that moment minutes ago where we felt like maybe he gave up an opportunity, but speaking of which, opportunity strikes, and in an explosive manner will be Toxjq's return frag, and that's very depressing for the likes of Noctis, who worked so hard for his kill.
Yeah, that was a big turnaround there for Toxjq. Noctis looked like he was going to really establish firm control, have the Sorlag, looked like he was playing good, and then Toxjq just landed some great rockets and killed him. Just he went Toxic on him. That's what he does sometimes. He just lands some amazing stuff.
And sometimes on himself as well.
He showed that wall who's boss.
Oh yeah, left an indelible mark. Toxjq getting himself a light armor in. It is once again all about Noctis bullying Toxjq around on these big items and using the plasma trail to protect the position on heavy. But he was a bit too early, and actually he's misjudged this completely. A big opportunity here for Noctis. Pulls out the rail and actually connects it, as well as Slash will struggle to get up the stairs, and now Noctis, all he has to do is hold on for 5 seconds. The Ghost Walk, try to rocket jump. Oh my God, that's so incredibly tense. Will he pop the Berserk as well? Not necessary. If he had died there, I think he would be absolutely raging, but he did close it down.
I think we might have seen his mouse get thrown across the table there.
Yeah, I think so. Because I feel like he's walking this very fine line between just, I mean, I feel like there's some tilt moments here for Noctis, so I'm on tender hooks right now.
Yeah, I really don't know what's going to happen, but again, pointing back to item management, you got to be careful. You know, Toxjq obviously did not have the timing on that heavy armor. He was there way too early, and Noctis obviously knew the timing and just came in and took advantage of it. If you're not sure on the timing, in my opinion, it's better to collect information first, try to listen, and let your opponent. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to probably give up the next one, unless you can land some great damage and you know he's not going to challenge. But that wasn't the case. He knew Noctis had stuff, a good stack, and yeah, he should have been a little more careful, I think, right there.
Well, there's still opportunity here for both players. 1 round apiece here on Ruins of Sarnath. Again, the loser of this map will be eliminated. Really big game on our hands at the moment. Noctis receiving some damage here. Toxjq going for the push, but the positioning from Noctis, he was absolutely ready. The lightning gun electrifying Toxjq. He's lost so much stack, he is bleeding out at this point. He's going to have to take very defensive positions, and Noctis will be looking for the finish here, trying to find him, just scrounging the map, the extremities to find any ounce of health he can, but he's got his back to the wall. The flick shot is missed as Toxjq tries to juke, and he'll be successful.
I would have liked to see him be a little more aggressive there. It seemed like it's a little misread on his opponent's stack. If he would have recognized that Toxjq was down to 50 health, I think he just goes in there with the lightning gun. Why sit there with the rail looking for that little angle that he had? I felt he could have just got really aggressive, but of course that's why I'm here in the casting booth and he's up there on stage playing. So what do I know?
Yeah, as the saying goes, if you're ahead, get more ahead, and that is something that Noctis has taken to heart. And another frag comes his way, so he was confident that that would be the setup, and it did work out. So it's just a case of keeping the control now. But that said, despite doing some damage here, the heavy has been conceded. It's all about the mega now for Noctis as he whiffs the rail and is actually bullied away by the nails.
Yeah, and it took away his entire mega health overstack, which is big. So Toxjq, great opportunity here. But Noctis just pulls a rabbit out of his hat with a great rail shot.
That's one way to put it. I actually thought that he was in a lot of trouble there, and it was a good fight from Toxjq. Noctis had to hit the clutch shot, and he absolutely did. His health a little bit low, but he's going to be able to replenish fairly easily. It's really more of a concern for Toxjq, whose overall stack potential is just low with Nyx.
And that fight's just another indication. These players at this level, it's so little room for error. I mean, just the slightest opening, and these guys could take advantage of it. So it's very interesting. Like you said, who can land those clutch shots, those killing shots? You know?
Ooh. Speaking of which, this would be a time to turn it on. The button has been pressed, and Toxjq is smashing Noctis, at least for that frag. Can he keep it up, though? Can he hit the zone? I mean, we have a situation where there's 2 minutes left, and there's a champion advantage for Noctis. He can opt to slow it down. He's on Doom, however.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a little too early. You want to play. You want to at least try to get a steal maybe here in the next 30 seconds if you can. At least have some decent stack, and then play really passive in the final minute. But going into full defensive mode with 2 minutes on the clock could give Toxjq too much of the map, as we've seen. We've seen that happen several times in other events and things where players go really defensive 2.5 minutes into a round, and it comes back to haunt them.
So we'll have Noctis looking to keep the pressure on, but so far there's not all that much pressure. He has gone pretty defensive. Looking to defend the Mega Health. The connection of that rail will actually disincentivize Noctis, but it's actually, he's going aggressive here with the pickup of the Mega and the Ghost Walk. Good damage. Noctis in trouble right now, might lose the advantage. The fist comes in, but it's the frag for Toxjq. He equalizes, and a minute to play with now before sudden death, and it's Nyx versus Nyx.
And now this is the danger when you go into a defensive mode too early. Not only did Toxjq have the time, got the tying frag, but you gave up so much map control. Now you have to break the control from Toxjq, who's going to have both items on timer, and he'll be cycling them both.
So a moment of calm here before the storm. And a quick rail connection. The double back comes in, and Toxjq meets it. Doesn't get the rocket he's looking for. And Noctis is going to be relieved about that, but he is very much on the back foot at the moment, and his Ghost Walk is not up. One rail will kill him. Yeah, this is a very scary position right now.
He's in a bad spot right now, especially the way Toxjq's landing some of these rails here in the open. You know, Toxjq's going to be on the grind here. He's gonna know that armor's missing, so he knew.
This is bad. This is really bad for Noctis. Toxjq, there's blood in the water. He smells the weakness. He's going for the finish, the drop. There's nowhere to escape. There's still no Ghost Walk for another 5 seconds. Can Noctis hold on? Actually, Toxjq will back away. And that's just Nyx for you. One bad rocket, if he goes in, he might just lose the match, or rather the round.
Yeah, that was, again, showing the respect to his opponent. He knew. I agree with you. He was one bad rocket away. Even though I know he really wanted to push, but good position by Noctis, and it would have only taken one good rocket. So I think it was a smart move to back off. A little conservative, but nothing wrong with being a little conservative here and there and quick.
Absolutely, and it's in one rail on a full stack Nyx is half the health gone, and the Ghost Wall comes in. Toxjq, he's surely going to finish it off. Yes, that's the round there for Toxjq. What a battle between these two, and I believe, you know, on the third map we're getting the most competitive game of these two players. These two incredible players here. DreamHack wins.
I'm just impressed with the overall skill level of both these guys. The back and forth action, some of the great shots, they're both landing each other. Good plays, reading each other very well, and then taking advantage of sometimes, you know, even great players make mistakes. We saw it with Toxjq in the armor timing, and Noctis made him pay for that mistake, which is what great players do.
He definitely made him pay. He made him pay a lot of money.
Well, we'll see who's paying the money. It's all about winning this game.
Oh, yeah. Well, Toxjq, slow start for him. Getting himself on the weapons. Noctis looking for opportunity, as he is also looking for those items. Again, tentative start.
Always that quiet before the storm early on the match. Has, you know, each of you get a heavy item typically, and you know, nobody wants to make that first mistake, right? The first frag is so big.
Noctis bouncing around the map, hearing nothing. But there it is, spots a couple of rockets. That's going to give away the position of Toxjq. Obviously the Mega coming up, and Noctis deciding to concede it. And I like that choice in many respects. It's the very safe choice, but again, due to the fact that that first frag is so critical. And we must also note that Toxjq, of course, is going to slash versus the Sorlag, which is actually the first time I think we're seeing that for the first pick. And that plasma trail should easily, yes, it's going to force Noctis away.
Yeah, but I like Noctis' decision to back off early on, because the slash, go ahead and give slash the Mega Health. If you're Sorlag, you'll take the armor and just have a huge stack to deal with the slash. But
and speaking of which, he's going to be getting the Mega Steal as well. Going back for the heavy, he's going to be in a position to do a lot here. And now Toxjq knows he has to hit rails. He knows he has to get damage in, because otherwise Noctis is going to be able to just rocket jump into his face, so there'll be no escape. And speaking of, wow, the speed of Slash is just so awesome. I love it.
Very interesting right now. Both, ooh. And of course he comes back with a shot of his own. Why should I expect otherwise right now?
That's a good return rail, but Again, the damage that was previously done to Noctis with the great double rail from Toxjq and then that eventual third did create a spot where Noctis is actually very quiet on the map as he picks up the heavy and they split items. But just as you said, you know, it is a preference for the Sorlag.
Yeah, I think especially if Toxic's a little armor starved, that you're going to bleed into that health really fast.
Uh-oh, is there any escape here? Acid connection as well. Is the acid enough? How much damage was done? Oh, I think one more tick. He just barely made it to the health in time. That was a close one. Oh, the punching coming in. The fists are in. But they will not have fury. They will not have the blood that they were after. Noctis will have to wait for that.
Oh, he knows Toxic's low, though. He's got to be thinking he wants to get the finish somewhere. Toxic, great job of getting away. What a rail, though, that first kill. Jeez, oh my gosh.
Noctis confident with the rails, not able to get the follow-up there. Plasma trails all over the place may make the vision a bit more difficult as well to connect those shots, and Toxic will escape once again.
Yeah, nice use of the plasma trail to deny pursuit, but Noctis again coming back, tying it up with some great rockets. Using that high position to drop down on him, and he's got a superior stack right now. He's in good shape, but I'm wondering now, Toxic switching to Sorlag for his second pick. One of the things about Sorlag, you can't really spawn rush a Sorlag. She'll just spit all over you and call it a day.
Cover you in mucus.
Nasty green puke, I don't like it.
Toxic controlling the center map, the high ground. Getting himself additional armor as well.
Interesting, he didn't really challenge for the heavy armor at all. Didn't really kind of take a peek at it. It's a little surprising. Kind of gave Toxic a freebie there.
I really have no idea how this game is going to end up. This is actually so intense between these two players, and Toxic now going for the pursuit, gets a nice rail. That's so important before the items, just before the items spawn. That means that Noctis cannot challenge past the bridge. He has to just play defensively, and Toxic has set himself up for the heavy. The pursuit comes in. Can Noctis weather the storm? Toxic actually swapping places. Noctis, can he dodge the rail? Can he get away? Just barely, but he is very, very weak. Toxic knows it, and he's going to be swinging around with the movement. Is so smooth, and Toxic will finish him off. Noctis unable to survive.
Good effort by Noctis, though. He did take a lot of Toxic's stack away, even though I'm sure Toxic did not expect to lose that much health and armor for that.
And this is it, 5 seconds left. Noctis has to find a frag. He needs to telefrag. Can he get to it? No, the shotgun comes out, and it's not enough. Toxic eliminates Noctis. Unbelievable series from start to finish. We had Noctis showing us that he could walk all over Toxic. Toxic answered right back on Blood Run, finding comfort stylistically.